Hey guys, Coach K Renee here. Welcome back to day 3 of the Printable Business Bootcamp. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to be diving in today behind the scenes of my shops in Etsy and Shopify to check out product listings and how those listings get put in there. We're also going to look at some tips and tricks for SEO and figuring out how to list your products. So if you haven't had a chance to watch day 1, make sure you go back and check that out. It talks all about looking at what products are trending and how to figure out what it is to create that will help you to make sales. And if you haven't watched day 2, make sure you go back and watch that as well. That talks all about Canva and how you can make your printables yourself in Canva. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So here we are on a listing that I just recently put in from Etsy. It is in my Etsy shop. You will see it is a Meet the Teacher welcome sign. It's customizable in Canva, so it's actually a Canva template. This is a nice mock-up. You want to make sure you're doing mock-ups like this that help people to see how it can actually be used if possible, or at least a nice little flat lay display so they can see it. Here's an example of a flat lay display. It has just a couple little comments about some of the fun little features. If you come over here to the right, you'll see that we do have the price. We have a Meet the Teacher template back to school editable in Canva. This is the title that we're using. Of course, we have our ratings. I do have 5 stars in my shop, which is super awesome. Thank you, my sweet customers. They're really important to get good reviews, so make sure you're taking care of your customers because that will help you rank higher with your listings, and it does help your customers feel like they are getting a good product and more willing to purchase from you. All right, so if we come down, you will see it just has some details about what it is. It goes into a nice description and talks about how this is the ultimate back-to-school must-have. It's our Meet the Teacher editable Canva template, and it goes into a few fun details about it and why they might want to use it. Coming farther down, you'll see that it talks about the details as far as it being a zip file of the template, and it talks about the fact that this is a digital file. There is no physical product that will be shipped and no refunds or returns. It does show some of my listings a little bit farther down. All right. Okay, so this is what your customer sees, all right, in your shop. When they come, that's what they see. So let's go ahead and go back and look at the actual listing. So all you're going to do is, if you don't have an Etsy shop, that's perfectly fine. Just go in, sign up for a shop, put in the details that it's asking you for. It's pretty straightforward: name, address. If you have a business, it asks about your financial stuff as far as what you want to pay with, your bank account, debit card, whatever, and how you want to get paid. It also asks about like your social security number, and that's in regards to them being able to deal with tax purposes and stuff for you, and as far as reporting for them for tracking. So just fill in whatever it is it's asking for. And then once you're ready, you will get to just the main shop. And this is like one of the main shop portals here. So over here on the left, you will see there is this little 3-shaped thing here, a circle, triangle, and a square, and it's actually listings. If you hover over it, it'll tell you what each one is. So if you go ahead and click on listing, it would pop up your listings, and then in the top right corner over here, it would say add new listing or new listing, something like that. So you would click on that, and then this is the page it's going to bring you to. This is a new version in Etsy. If you don't like the new version, you don't have to use it. You can click this switch to old version and it'll take you back to the version that you're more familiar with, okay? So if you're having problems and you can't quite figure out this new format, that's perfectly fine. Just switch to the old version. If you have the old version in your account, that's perfectly fine. It's going to have the same information. It just looks slightly different. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is add a title. When I'm wanting to put in the title, I want to make sure I'm using keywords that somebody might be searching for. So when I'm looking for my title, I'm actually going to go into Etsy in another browser, and I'm going to type in Meet the Teacher, and I'm going to see what other things pull up here. So these are great keywords to consider and things that I might want to put into my title because these are other things that people are actually searching for. Long tail keywords actually give you a better chance at ranking. A long tail keyword is just a keyword that is extended beyond the regular keyword. So like in this example, Meet the Teacher would be the shortened keyword. The long tail keyword would be Meet the Teacher template or Meet the Teacher template preschool, or so far down the list. All right, you can also use for your title and your keyword tags, you can also use a service like Marmalade or Erank, and those will help you to look at what is actually ranking. And just keep in mind, there's no crazy secret to those sites. They're all relatively the same. They just have a couple with different features, so it's really just more preference. But the most important thing about them is that you want to look for words that have a high search volume and a lower competition ranking. So meaning that a lot of people are looking for it, but there's not a lot of stuff out there yet. So people are able to list it and get traction pretty quickly, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, so these are all great examples. So we would come back and decide what we want to put in for a title, and then we would upload our photos that we made in Canva. Remember, we talked about making those mock-ups flat lays yesterday, so make sure you go back to and watch day 2 if you have questions about making your mock-up photos here. So you just upload them, and they are in there. You can drag and switch them around if you want so that they're in the right positioning, so just keep that in mind. All right, and you can decide what your thumbnail is. All right, so this is a digital file. So to add the file, I just clicked add file and uploaded it in. Because this is a template in Canva, what I ended up doing is making a PDF with a link to the template. So if they want to purchase this, they will get this PDF and then they will click on this link and it will take them over to the Canva template, because there needs to be a digital download in there for them to have something to download to know how to get to the template. All right, so as far as the description, you want to make sure that you're showing some of the fun features, and you also want to make sure you're using some of those keywords that we talked about. Additionally, you want to show them that you're solving a problem that you're having. So for instance, in our case, this teacher is having a problem with back to school, and they want a meet the teacher sign so that they can transform their back to school night to be a better experience, right? Make sure you include those details about what it is they're actually getting, and make sure you mention that it is a digital file, there is no physical product that'll be shipped, and that there are no refunds or returns, or whatever your return policy is going to be. If you were doing personalization, you could add those options in here. This is customizable and personalizable, but they're doing it themselves because this is a template. Pricing, when picking pricing, just make sure you look at some of the other listings. So like if we go into Meet the Teacher template, you will see that there are other listings here for similar things and what they're priced at. Okay, so $2.99 is a pretty fair price. We've got $4.25, $2.36, $3.14, and this is more of like a pack, so it's $10. $2.99, $4.99. So $2.99 is appropriate. It's actually a little bit on the low side. We actually could go up a little bit if we wanted to. Something we could consider is listing it for $3.99 and then doing a sale for $1 off. That may bring in more customers. Just things to think about. Okay. I always do $9.99 because it costs you 20 cents for the listing. So you might as well have the highest quantity amount, which is $9.99. It's a digital option, so it's not like you're going to run out anyways, but they do make you redo the listing once you've run out of quantity. So if you only list one or two, after one or two, you're going to have to pay the 20 cents listing fee again. Etsy. All right, so this is just talking more about the details, that it's a digital file, that it was handmade, and that I did it. And we put in those details on the screen right before this. It asked those details in the new version. In the old version, it was all on one form. And then office and school supplies is what I listed it as. You can change the category to whatever you want. And when it has a search option, so it just helps you to pick the right option. We don't need to put in the colors, but we could. And then as far as the tags, so these are really what we're looking at for keywording in Etsy, and these would be what you were pulling from Eranks or Marmalade, or you could just use your research like we just did with letting this drop down and show us what else is being pulled. It's a little bit tricky because it does limit your characters, so you can only have like 20 something characters, so these really long ones aren't going to work. But just know that you want to try to use the longer key terms, but at the same time them still fit in the Etsy key term search tags here. So it's kind of a catch-22. We just do the best we can. But you can sprinkle those longer tail keywords in your description and in your title, and that will help you to rank for those other keywords as well. All right. Another thing in day one, we talked about using that Allura extension. So you can always go into Etsy, look at these listings that are similar, pull that Allura research, click on the Allura, pull that research for them, and it'll show you which ones are actually selling and the keywords that they're actually using. Okay. All right. So there is no shipping. So we just tell it it's a digital product, so there's no shipping. And I am not running ads on it. I haven't really had a lot of success with Etsy ads. Some people really love them. They haven't really done much for me, but they're super simple. If you wanted to run an ad, you literally just click it on and you tell it the amount you want it to run for and what listings you want them to run for. And that's it. So you would go ahead and hit publish and it would go out and our listing looks just like this one we talked about. All right. So we will now jump behind the scenes of Shopify. I'm going to find the right listing. Okay, this one. All right, so here is our behind the scenes. So it's pretty much the same information. We have the same description. It's just copied and pasted in between the two. It is showing that there's a problem and that we're solving that problem, even though it's something simple like making a printable for a teacher store, even though this is a template. We did use a title that was very similar because it's also going to rank the same in SEO, which is search engine optimization, which has to do with how Google can find your keywords. We do have our photos here. We still have our pricing the same. Inventory is slightly different on Shopify, so it lists as where you have it available at, which is fine. You can see I have a print-on-demand store in here too, so it's giving me multiple options, but we don't have anything listed there because this isn't a print-on-demand product. And then no shipping because this is not a physical product. There's no variations. I'm not offering different versions of it. It's just one template. This is our SEO listing, so we can click on that and edit it if we wanted to change the title or the meta description so that it had better ranking. Better meta description is pretty good. And this is our URL for it. And then over here on the right, back at the top, we have that it's active, that it's publishing in these of our sales stores. I am a Pinterest verified merchant seller as well as Facebook and Instagram. So I have shops in all of those. So it will auto publish to those. The Google and YouTube, it's a little bit trickier. They want you to have more of a physical product usually. So I don't often post to that one, but sometimes I will. It doesn't always love it when I post there, so it makes things a little bit trickier. And then if you scroll down, this is product organization. This is just talking about how you're categorizing it and how your people will be able to find it inside your Shopify store if they're searching in your store. So this doesn't have to do with Google. It just has to do with your store. And this is what Okay, so if we click on more actions, we can go to add digital file, and it'll pull us over to the digital file portion, which this is an app that is free digital downloads that you add to your Shopify store. And then you would just add the file here. You can see it's already there. It's the same file we talked about earlier, which is this thank you page with the link to the Canva template. And you could add whatever file you need to here, but it is already in there. All right, and so we can go back. I don't think it's going to let me. So we can go back to products and go back to this one. And we can see what it looks like in the Shopify store. Oh. All right, I don't know why all that new stuff jumped on there, but here we go. So this is it in the Shopify store. It's the listing that is showing that we just created. And it's showing you all the same things that we have in Etsy, but now in Shopify. All right, so this is an app that I use often. It's called Frequently Bought Together, and it just kind of pairs things up for people. So it's recommending if they buy this, they should check out these 2 SVGs that I have for the Cricut Maker as well. And then it also has down here more products that they might like. And that's it. All right, so just remember to use your tools. Remember to use the search engine in Etsy. Remember to use Allura if you need it. Remember to, Allura is going to give you all of that information like we talked about in day 1. Remember to use Canva to make your product or your PDFs or whatever that you need to do for your digital download. And remember to make your description inviting, and problem solving is super, super helpful because that makes people feel compelled to buy. All right, if you have questions, let me know, and I will chat with you guys soon.